Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten Powell. I'm on the product marketing team here at Acquia. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Justin Iman from Third and Grove, Jake Athey from Wyden, recently acquired by Acquia, and Justin Anderson from Dartmouth. The three J's that I have on the call here have a great story for you today about Dartmouth's website redesign. I think as marketers, we all understand the struggle with content and lining it up to your strategy and making sure that you have a long plan to keep it consistent in the future. But the three J's on this call have a plan and a story for you. So, Justin Anderson, I'll pass it off to you to take it away.
Thanks so much, Kristen. So first, I will tell you just a little bit about Dartmouth, which is where I work and where I live. Dartmouth is made with bricks and mortar. It's a place, a distinctive place, nestled in the North Woods of New Hampshire, and we take great pride in that location. It differentiates us from institutions of higher education in, say, Cambridge, Massachusetts, or New Haven, Connecticut. Yet, despite the importance of place, our most valuable piece of real estate, digital or otherwise, may very well be our home site. It's how we introduce ourselves to the world. It creates the first impression for a future Rhodes Scholar deciding where to apply to college, or a future Nobel Prize winner determining where to teach and do research. And just because we are a 250-year-old institution, that does not mean that we should have a website that looks like it's 250 years old. To be fair, our website prior to connecting with Third and Grove was not quite 250 years old. It was, however, 8 years old, which in this world is something close to 250 years old. So the last time we went through a redesign, it was 2012. And just to remind you of how much time has passed since then, The Hunger Games premiered in movie theaters. The stock market was surging past 13,000, which is well more than half of its current value. And a guy named Usain Bolt was dominating the headlines with his electrifying performance at the London Olympics. Also since then, and perhaps more relevant to our story, every Ivy League school, every Ivy League institution had redesigned its websites, except for Dartmouth. We had some catching up to do, and we didn't want to just catch up. We wanted to jump ahead and to lead. And that's where Third and Grove enters our story. Right here, this snapshot is our pre-Third and Grove website. And so, as I said, 2012, a little bit long in the tooth. It needed to be redone for many reasons. Now, so let me just give you a little bit of context. From 2019 to 2020, our average monthly unique page views went from 150,000 to 250,000, and the average time spent on the site nearly tripled from a minute 16 to 3 minutes, to almost 3.5, or just over 3.5 minutes. And now these next two data points are really important because they really drove the decision making of the redesign. Number one, for the last several years prior to the redesign, 30% of our traffic was from internal users and 70% was from external. So that tells us that this is not an internal facing communications vehicle, very much outward facing. Number two, our top three most popular sites were admissions, departments and programs, and Degree Finder. Clearly, these are sites that would be of interest to a prospective student. Again, external. That's totally consistent with the 70% external audience. So what this told us was that our website was not an internal bulletin board for announcements that are just for the campus community. And just a little bit of anecdotal to support this conclusion. I spoke with multiple students. I have spoken with multiple students over the years who have said something approximating, yeah, I haven't looked at the website since I applied. And so we really understood that this was perhaps our most valuable, as I said earlier, marketing tool, and we needed to treat it as such. And we weren't necessarily doing that. The data that we were looking at, however, shaped the content strategy, and the usability architecture that we worked on and ultimately decided to go with Third and Grove. Those were our North Stars, and throughout the project, they really guided our decision making. Justin, over to you.
Thanks, Justin. That was a great overview. Thank you. So Dartmouth is one of those leads that's very unique when it comes in, because Dartmouth is one of the cultural gems. It's one of the primary cultural institutions of New England, which is where I'm from. So it's such an amazing institution and exciting to work with. But then when you win the deal, it's one of those leads that becomes really terrifying, because you really can't screw up the Dartmouth site because it's so high profile. So I just want to talk a little bit about the approach that we took to focus on the site. So Justin talked about it a little bit, but as we were working on the strategy phase of the project, we knew there were some key pillars that we needed to focus on. We knew storytelling was going to be an important component, because there were so many different personas that interact with the higher educational website experience. Similarly, because we have all of those different personas, we know we need to guide them well with navigation and calls to action. And so much of the conversation, as we all know, is happening with a younger cohort in social media. So we have to make sure that we're a part of that conversation where it's happening. So part of the strategy process is we gather a lot of information. We gather data points and competitive analysis and analytics audits. But one of those pieces we really like to focus on are the stakeholder interviews and talking to folks inside and outside of Dartmouth. So we heard a lot of things, but it validated some of what Justin brought up in terms of the site and the information being really hard to find and navigate and sort of interact with. So I want to talk about really the fundamental nature of what digital strategy is. And to do that, I want to talk about my old Italian grandma. So my old 90-year-old Italian grandma, conservative lady, really pretty classic and buttoned up. But the second she stepped onto a casino floor, she lit up like a firework. And it was like hard to keep up with her, because she was running around the floor picking machines to play on. And one time I said, Grandma, how do you know what machine to sit down at? And she goes, oh, honey, you just have to wait for one of them to speak to you. And the thing about digital strategy is there's like all of this data that you get and from analysis and talking to people and competitive research and all these things and all this information together. But the essence of the strategy phase of a redesign project is you have to put it all in your head, get your arms around it, and wait for some sort of core kernel that binds everything together. Wait for that to shout at you that it's really the key thing that sort of brings that everything together. It's sort of that glue. And so as we were working on Dartmouth, we were thinking about a great Seth Godin quote about Tesla. This is a Tesla here. And Seth Godin said, everyone who bought a Tesla had a great Lexus in the garage. They weren't buying a new car, they were buying a new story. And so it became really clear that storytelling was the connective glue here that we needed to do effectively to make this whole experience work. I mean, people go to Dartmouth to change the world, right? It is one of the leading institutions in the world. And so we need to be, show Dartmouth to be proud of that legacy, put that forward and really bring how inspiring a place it is physically when you're there to that digital experience. And that's really what we focused on. And all of that was brought together with all of the elements of the content strategy and the storytelling. We had some really great metrics in terms of the success of the project. So when we look at the site post-launch with the new design versus the previous experience, really great improvement metrics especially around average time on site. So a big increase there, which shows that we're engaging an audience better. And then we look for indicators like downloads in order to show that they're finding the information that they want and they're interacting in a more deep way. So really, really good success around with the project. And the last piece I wanted to touch on, for storytelling to work, you have to empower a marketing team and give them an editorial experience that allows them to tell a great story easily and remove all the friction from that storytelling process so they can focus on what matters, which is the story itself. And so integrating the experience with Dartmouth's DAM solution, which is Widen, was really, really important. And so we focused on that as part of the project. And then interestingly enough, recently recently Acquia went ahead and bought Widen, and so now they're one organization. So Dartmouth both runs their site on the Acquia cloud, and then also is now leveraging an Acquia product, which is Widen. But bringing those together was really crucial for the overall experience. And now I'm going to hand it off to Jake to talk a little bit about DAM.
Yeah, thank you, Justin and Justin. And to reiterate a few things that Justin said, the right DAM systems can really set your content creators up for success and help everyone and every communication channel really align to your brand story. And so we like to say that DAM is a key component to power those building blocks of content-driven experiences. And then done right, DAM serves as a foundational component to what is intelligent content strategy. And a few key ingredients make that possible. The first, structurally rich, good metadata. That's a key concept in digital asset management. Automatically discoverable content comes with good data governance. And then adaptable content comes with web enablement and repurposing of content from that central source of truth, as we like to say, just as Dartmouth is doing. And these are really the keys to build your brand from the core by leveraging all of your digital assets. When you can manage your core brand assets, your messaging, typography, colors, and all of that identity, all centrally at the individual asset level, and then take a holistic approach to managing it all, including the strategy, the people, the processes, and the technology, DAM really can serve as that critical point for internal teams to guide your customer or audience experiences by providing some powerful brand management benefits. And this includes improving brand consistency with central controlled access to the most current content, providing access to consistent and high quality brand materials, then really helping your people help themselves in sharing and communicating your brand story. And it doesn't stop there. As a more modern approach to digital asset management integrates with some of those adjacent tools, such as a web content management system and some of those other platforms that help streamline content operations to really feed quality content across your entire digital experience. And so getting to that central source of truth is always the first step, and then integrating DAM across your tech stack to help optimize your content return on investment and add more brand value. And so it's common for users of digital asset management systems to integrate with tools like Adobe Creative Cloud or Microsoft Office, with project management tools and collaboration tools to really help ensure that assets can be created and repurposed quickly and easily and help keep everyone on that same page. It's also popular to integrate DAM to feed assets to your web CMS, any multi-channel marketing hubs, and digital commerce as a growing trend to really help shape the customer experience with that high quality content. And so digital asset management is really key when integrated across your other technologies, shaping your digital experience to provide more control over brand consistency, more productivity from your content, your creative, and your communications teams, and really more security, extensibility, accessibility of your data, more trackable data, and then a more agile organization. And this is exactly why Widen is excited to be part of the leading open digital experience platform in Acquia and partnering with Third and Grove to serve remarkable institutions like Dartmouth and thousands of other of the world's most ambitious brands. And so that's a little bit about digital asset management and our role in powering great storytelling across a modern web experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin, and Jake. That was a rapid fire session. If you're interested in learning more about the Dartmouth story with Third and Grove or Widen specifically, please connect with us and drop your questions in the chat.